Hi guys, welcome. We're going to do our first day of our trigonometry unit. This is pretty much review, so we're not really getting into the trig stuff today. We're going to start off with Pythagorean theorem and just some general properties that are probably review from the past, but you've probably forgotten, but that's okay. So let's run through two quick examples. The first one, part A, is just going to be a solve for x, so that shouldn't be a problem. So if we look at this, we're going to be solving for x squared plus 4 equals 29. So we're going to write out the equation again. And now we can solve. We're going to want to get x squared by itself before we can actually solve for x. So we're going to take the 4, which is right here, and we're going to take it to the other side. So we end up getting x squared equals 29 minus 4. That'll give us x squared equals 25. Now we're going to take that square to the other side, and that's going to become, hopefully you guys have already thought of it, square root of 25. Now you have to remember, whenever we take a square to the other side, it's going to be square root, but you have to have it as plus or minus, and a lot of people forget that. And then that's going to result in x equals plus or minus 5 is your answer. And we're done. So we're fine with having both the positive and the negative because this was just solving a basic equation. Let's move to the next one where it's actually the Pythagorean theorem. So we have a Pythagorean theorem. We have the hypotenuse is 13 and the other two sides are x and 12. Lots of people have trouble with this one because they're used to just using the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but they really don't highlight the fact that the c squared is referencing the longest side, the hypotenuse. So usually what I say is, for the Pythagorean theorem, it's the hypotenuse squared equals the other two sides squared and added together. So I ask myself first, what's the hypotenuse? It's 13 squared equals, and now it's the other two sides squared and added together. And then we were going to go, the 13 squared is 169. Equals x squared, and then we end up getting 12 squared, which is 144. We're going to take the 144 to the other side. It's going to be subtract. We'll end up getting 25 equals x squared. When I do take the square over to the other side, it's going to be the square root of 25. Don't forget about the plus or minus, and I'm going to end up just going plus or minus 5 equals x. Now we're going to split this into two parts. We get x equals 5 and x equals negative 5. And the reason we're doing that is because you cannot have negative length. And we're talking about x being the length of one of the sides of the triangle. So we end up having to cross off one of our roots because we cannot have negative length. So we cross that off. I'm going to have to slide down here. And you're just going to make reference to the fact that you can't have a negative number for length. So can't have negative length. And because this isn't really a word problem, we can leave it at that. You might put a little therefore x equals 5 and x equals negative 5, but we cross off the negative 5 because we can't have negative length. And that's about it. The rest of this is just kind of a review of your properties. So you'll look at some of them. You guys can read through most of these yourself. They're fairly basic, and we've done them all before. Or there might be the odd new one that you're just going to say, yeah, that makes sense. So if we look, interior angles add up to 180. So we've done that before. So you're just looking right here. The sum of the exterior angles of a triangle are add up to 360. So if you take, they're making reference to this angle, this angle, and this angle. So they've written it right here, equals 360. And I'm going to leave you guys to read through this quickly tonight before you get to class tomorrow. And you can read through all of these here. There's some more on the next page. And you can just go through and read all of them, and there are quite a few. A lot of them make sense. A lot of them are kind of intuitive. And page. And if you look, here's the rest of them. And then you don't have to go and do this homework right here because that's what you're going to get to do in class. That's why this is so cool for you guys. This lesson was maybe 5 or 10 minutes with the writing. Maybe it took you 15. So now you only have 15 minutes of homework to do at home. And then tomorrow you're going to come into class and you're going to get the class to work on your homework in class. And I'm going to be there to help you. So it's going to be fantastic. Thanks. Have a good night.